Hello everybody and welcome to This Weekend in Motorsports. My name is Cody and I'll be your host. Dogs behind me will be the co-hosts. So we're going to start with the biggest news of the weekend, and this time it's not me winning an iRacing race. All four Hendrick Motorsports cars and the colleague Chevy of Justin Haley had their hood louvers confiscated by Nascar after the practice session. Some teams had complained that the hood louvers didn't properly fit inside the hood, and NASCAR actually told them to don't modify them, work with the manufacturers to make them fit from the manufacturer because they're a single part and the teams aren't supposed to touch them at all. Now, this could go one of four ways. First off, we have an L1 penalty. That means the driver or team will be given a points deduction ranging between 10 and 40 points. The crew chief and other team members can also be given suspensions for 1 to 3 races and a fine which can range from $25,000 to $75,000. That's an L1 penalty. An L2 penalty is a more severe penalty, and it carries a points deduction of 75 points. The crew chief or other team members are also suspended for 6 races, and they have a large fine of $100,000 to $200,000. Now, we actually saw an L2 penalty last year with Brad Keselowski, RFK Racing. They repaired a back bumper, and it wasn't to NASCAR's standards, and they gave them a $100,000 penalty. An L3 penalty, which is what we saw last year at Pocono, where NASCAR completely DQ'd the Joe Gibbs Toyotas of Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch, who actually finished the race 1-2, giving the win to Chase Elliott because of the L3 penalty. The other way this could go is absolutely no penalty at all. Kind of like what we saw last year to start off the year, where Penske and RFK were deburring the back of the wheels to allow them to seat on the drive pins better, and NASCAR confiscated the wheels, but then actually didn't give the teams a penalty and told them that it was okay because there was actually a problem with the wheel manufacturing instead of getting a penalty or anything. Now, NASCAR confiscating the louvers from Team Hendrick seemed to make no difference in speed at all for them. Kyle Larson was the fastest in practice, which was with the hood louvers that NASCAR confiscated. He then went out and qualified on the pole, which is after they replaced them. Denny Hamlin started second. Last week's winner, William Byron, started third. Larson and Byron got a great start compared to Denny Hamlin. Much like last week, William Byron took the lead from Kyle Larson on lap 2. He didn't really look back after that. Stage 1 this week was only 60 laps. There wasn't a caution in stage 1 at all. Joey Logano and Mark Truex Jr. actually got together. Joey got tight or loose under him and caught Martin in the right rear, and they had a little scrap coming off of turn 2, but they were both able to save it and keep going. Joey's car was actually pretty bad to start the race. He actually fell back and went a lap down to William Byron, but he was the free pass car as William Byron wins a caution-free stage 1. Stage 2 was going caution-free until Eric Almirola had a wheel break right at the start-finish line. I mean, there was part of the rim out on the track. But since NASCAR had a video of the lug nut coming off, they deemed that that was the team losing a wheel and gave them a 2-lap penalty, and they'll lose 2 crew members for a couple of weeks as a result. A little bit later in stage 2, Briscoe and Buescher split Daniel Suarez 3 wide. Buescher was on the bottom. He moved up, but he wasn't completely clear of Suarez, and they came together, and it could have been really bad. It could have nearly crashed all 3 of them in one go, but everybody was good. A little fast heartbeat there for a minute. Brad Keselowski was looking really good late in stage 2, telling his team he had a great long run car as he finishes the stage in P4. Kyle Larson actually wins stage 2, which was his 43rd career stage win. Stage 2 and stage 3 were really close in length. They were like 120 some laps apiece, which I don't remember NASCAR doing that last year, but maybe I just don't remember. But anyway, Kevin Harvick's team, they had a great long run car. He actually gets around Kyle Larson in the latter part of stage 3, and he pulls out to over a 5-second lead on Kyle Larson. That is until Harrison Burton loses it all by himself, spins across the start-finish line, and Nascar had the caution out before he even stopped sliding down into the dogleg, which he was way down in the dogleg. He did blow a tire and send stuff all over the track after that, but NASCAR was old trigger finger on the damn caution there. So it was actually a really long green flag run leading into Harrison Burton's issue. They had 55 laps on their tires, so everybody comes down pit road, but 6 cars end up taking 2 tires only, and Kevin Harvick, who was leading when the caution came out, is the first car with 4 new freshies. He has to restart 7th. It actually ends up being a complete log jam in front of him. He's stuck behind Ross Chastain, and they're 3 wide underneath him, so he's on the top of 4 wide. He has nowhere to go. Can't do anything with his 4 freshies. And then behind them, AJ spins and collects Noah Gragson. At the same time, Ty Gibbs is actually in the wall behind them. He ends up running into the back of Noah Gragson after he got into the wall with AJ Allmendinger. We were going to have an old-fashioned green-white checkered and go to the scheduled distance, but now with this wreck, we're going to have a NASCAR overtime finish and a real green-white checkered. So Byron, Larson, and Blaney are battling 3 wide for the lead on the green-white checker. Byron's up top, Larson's in the middle, Blaney's down low. Byron gets a monstrous shove from Tyler Reddick, and it's the push he needs to actually get by those guys, and he pulls away to take the win. So Byron wins. Tyler Reddick actually finishes the race decently well, actually finishes the race in 3rd. Larson was 4th. Kevin Harvick comes home 5th after being the leader when the first late race caution came out. He was looking for his 10th win at Phoenix, and it was his 20th straight top 10 finish at Phoenix. Josh Berry, who was subbing for Chase, comes home in 10th for his first ever top 10 finish in the Cup Series. With Willy B winning 2 weeks in a row, the 24 car wins back-to-back races for the first time since Jeff Gordon in 2007. Chevy wins the first 4 races of the season for the first time since 2001. And Alex Bowman, who is the only driver with 4 top 10 finishes to start the season, leads the championship for the first time in his career. And now on to the Xfinity Series. Cole Custer and Justin Allgaier started on the front row. Right off the bat, Justin Allgaier fell back to 4th for basically not cutting the dog leg. Everybody turned left and cut the course, and he didn't, so he fell back to 4th right off the bat. There was an early caution for debris. Leland Honeyman tagged the wall and ended up losing the rear bumper cover, and Joe Graft hits the bumper cover, causing some nose damage to his Mustang and sending the bumper cover to the moon for a minute. So we come around to take the green flag after completing 35 laps. Nobody actually pitted for tires. They don't have a whole lot of tires in the Xfinity Series just for cost-cutting measures. So nobody pitted for tires. Cole Custer, Sammy Smith, and Justin Allgaier all battle for the lead until Josh Berry gets punted by Chandler Smith. No harm, no foul. He just gets turned and slides through the turn 3 and 4. So with Josh Berry spinning, there's a green-white checkered end to stage 1. Justin Allgaier actually comes out on top and wins the stage. Cole Custer gets put 4 wide and ends up finishing the stage in 6th. Stage 2 starts on lap 56 of 200 with John Hunter Nemechek in the lead, Sam Mayer and Austin Hill rounding out the top 3. Brett Moffitt gets loose after slight contact from Jeremy Clements. Parker Kligerman barely misses him. Jeb Burton and Ryan Truex both run in the top 5 after the lap 63 restart. So the restart for Brett Moffitt losing it under Jeremy Clements. Connor Mozak gets loose, spins, hits the wall, brings out the 5th caution of the day. Connor Mozak is actually in a second Sam Hunt Racing Toyota. He had issues in qualifying Now he has big time damage in the race. Josh Williams just barely misses Connor. He did some driving there. John Hunter Nemechek actually gets a penalty for going too low too soon on the restart. So the rule at Phoenix is you have to actually cross the start-finish line before you cut the dog leg on a restart. And he did not do that. He crossed the yellow line before he crossed the start. Not long after that, Junior Motorsports teammates get together once again. This seems to be a trend every week. JRM teammates come together as Sam Mager spins Josh Berry to make the stage 2 finish. Another green-white checkered. So this time, Justin Allgaier stays out while a bunch of other dudes pit. He wins stage 2 based upon his alternative strategy. That kind of puts him in the back to start stage 3. So on to stage 3. Like we were just talking about cutting the dog leg a second ago, Kyle Busch sends it all the way to the bottom on the restart to take the lead for a couple of laps. That is before Sammy Smith takes the lead away from him. Now, Sammy Smith had a pretty fast Toyota there, but caution number 8 comes out with Greg Alding getting into the wall. So that means there's a restart with 53 to go. Busch, Austin Hill, Sammy Smith all battling for the lead. Back in the pack, Sheldon Creed gets some contact, blows his left rear tire out, spins. Ryan Truex and Brendan Poole in the number 6 JD Motorsports car barely miss him. I mean, Brendan Poole had a big time miss. We get another restart. This restart is 44 to go. Sammy Smith again has the lead until the 10th caution of the day, where Anthony Alfredo spins all by himself. So this restart is with 24 to go. John Hunter Nemechek slides up and slaps the wall, getting into turn 1, which causes him to drop like a rock. And there's not actually a caution for that. So we continue with the trend of Junior Motorsports teammates getting into each other as Brandon Jones gets into the left rear of Justin Allgaier, getting him loose and slowing them both down to the point where they end up on the top of 4 wide, and chaos ensues from there. Justin Allgaier and Kaz Gralla get the worst of it, with Brett Moffitt and Brandon Jones all being involved in the caution. Justin Allgaier ends up out of the race with a bunch of damage to his car. We get another restart with 15 to go. Sammy Smith still leads over Kyle Busch. Chandler Smith is in 3rd. Kyle and Chandler are actually teammates. They're in the colleague cars. They battle, I mean hardcore battle, which actually allows Ryan Truex to catch them and get by and go after his teammate Sammy Smith, who is leading. Kyle and Chandler have a huge near miss on the last lap. Kyle gets under him, slides up into him, gets way sideways, and Fox doesn't actually cover it live, but they do give us a replay after the race is over, as 18-year-old Sammy Smith gets his first career Xfinity Series win. Ryan Truex, younger brother Martin Truex Jr., gets his 3rd second place finish. Now that we covered the 2 series that were on track this weekend, let's talk about what's coming up next weekend. It is a full slate of motorsports. We have F1 at Jeddah. We have all 3 NASCAR series at the new Super Speedway style Atlanta. We have IMSA and the WEC both at Sebring for the 12 hours and the 1,000 miles of Sebring. It's going to be an action-packed, jam-packed video next week. If y'all liked this one, hit the like button, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. It helps me out a lot. If you want iRacing stuff, check it out. It's on my channel. But I appreciate it. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I'll see you next week. Peace.